Hi, welcome to my channel, Living My Best Life with Lisa Marie. I'm so glad you're here. Now let's get crafting. Today's video is going to be Kirkland inspired dupes. This DIY is this whitewashed beaded wooded lantern for $40. I know I can do this for less. I'm going to use some large paint sticks that I got, I think, at Lowe's. I have some wood planks from the Dollar Tree, a sign that I had done a different DIY, and a scrap piece of wood, a beaded necklace from Dollar Tree, an old toothbrush holder that I had I was going to donate to the Goodwill, and then I'm using some Kills white primer paint that I love to use. I'm sanding the little scrap piece of wood that I'm using and then using my ladybug vacuum to clean it up. I will have that link in my description box. I'm painting all of the wood with that white paint, and I'm just going to cover every side pretty much of everything. I'm going to take the paint sticks and I'm going to cut off that little top part where it has an indentation. I'm going to use my miter shears for that. I got those on Amazon and I love them. They make cutting so easy without using major tools. So I'll also leave you guys that link in case you're interested. And I'm going to paint those also. I didn't need the part with the holes on top of the toothbrush holder, and it was really easy. I just bend it and it came right off, so that's great. And then I tried to sand the little ceramic piece so the paint would stick better. I don't know if that helped, but I'm using my ink colored chalk paint to paint this part all black, including the little handle that I'm holding. I'm going to paint all of that black because in the Kirkland's inspired piece, the part that held the candle was all black. In order to get the color that was on the original piece, I used a combination of the fawn colored chalk paint and the white wax from Waverly. So what I'm doing is I'm heavily dry brushing the fawn onto all of the white pieces that I painted. And after that's done, I'm going to go over it with the white Waverly wax, and it's going to give me the exact color that I'm looking for. And I was just really lucky that I guessed right because I wasn't sure how this was going to work. So this works out as a really nice technique. It almost creates like a blonde kind of a wood stain. I need to paint that little scrap piece of wood with the black ink colored paint because that piece in the original is black, and it had a kind of a scalloped edge for the legs, which I don't have. So I'm using these little blocks from Dollar Tree and I'm doing the same paint technique to them that I did with the rest of the wood, and I'm hot gluing them to the very bottom of the base of this lantern. Now I'm going to hot glue the little black square onto the middle of the top of the base in order to attach the piece that's going to hold my candle, which is that old toothbrush holder. I need to drill a hole. So I'm trying to find the center of that little black square. So I'm drawing diagonal lines across, and the center obviously is where I'm going to drill. I'm going to put a little piece of tape there so that I don't splinter the wood. At least that's what I've heard you should do, so I'm going to try it. This is my first time, I think, or second time using my drill in my DIYs. I'm excited. So I'm a little gun shy, so it takes me a little bit to push through, and then I realize I can just push through and it's going to work. Now I'm erasing my lines that I drew in pencil, and I've got my hole. Now I do have to make it a little wider at some point, but I'm able to push my little holder right through, and I'm going to hot glue on the bottom and along the top, and then I'm going to touch up the black paint where I put the hot glue so that it's not so noticeable. Next, I'm going to take those silver beads and I'm going to measure the length of my paint sticks. I need one for each of the paint sticks, so there are 4 of them, so I'm going to cut the right length for 4 of them. Then I'm going to take my hot glue gun and I'm going to hot glue it to the edge of the paint stick on all 4 of them. Once all the beads are attached to one side of the paint sticks, I'm going to use my white paint. I'm going to paint the beads on all sides and in between all the little spaces. Then I'm going to use a combination of E6000 and hot glue to attach each of the stir sticks to the sides of the lantern. Actually, they're kind of like diagonal in from the corners, and I'm going to hold them until the hot glue dries. And then I will go around and I'm going to reinforce every seam where the paint stick hits the base with hot glue, because I really want to make sure that these stay put. I'm going to take that top square, the little plank that I already painted, and I'm going to hot glue that directly to the top. So putting a little bit of hot glue on each of those stir sticks. Now, turns out I did not do this super evenly, and it was sticking so well I didn't want to break it off and deal with that, so it's a teeny bit crooked. Probably nobody will notice but me, you know. Now I'm going to take my drill and I'm going to drill into the cap piece. I'm going to drill a hole on each side in the middle because we're going to have a little rope handle. I'm going to take some nautical rope, stick it through the hole, tie the knot on the underside, and then hot glue it so it sticks to the piece of wood. And then I'll cut off the nautical rope and then tie the next one in through the outside to the inside, tie another knot and hot glue it, and that will become my little handle for this. And it's just so cute. I kept looking at the picture. I kept thinking it would have a little pull handle, but it just has a little rope and it's adorable. The last step is to hot glue this little cap piece right onto the top, and that actually completes the DIY. And I think it does look a lot like the original one, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. You'll have to let me know what you guys think. Today's video is a collaboration with my friend Adrian at TimeDIY Mommy. She is so adorable. I love her personality and I love her DIYs. Very cute and colorful and farmhouse and just gorgeous. This girl has some serious talent. I highly recommend you go check out her channel. I will have her channel link and a link to her video for this collaboration down in my description box. You will love her, and tell her that Lisa Marie said hi. And if you're here from Adrian's channel, I'm so happy to meet you and welcome to my channel. I hope you'll consider joining me on YouTube by hitting the red subscribe button and then turning on the notification bell so you always know when I have a new video coming up. I do all kinds of DIYs in different styles. There's something for everyone. For this Kirkland's dupe, I'm doing a lavender arrangement in a rustic watering can. Now they're asking $45. I know I can make this for less. Now mine's not a watering can, it's more like a container you'd see in a restaurant, like that holds syrup, but it was missing the lid. I found that at a thrift shop, picked it up for I think $1.99, great deal. Then I'm going to do the faux galvanized metal technique. Take some black paint, I'm using the ink color by Waverly, and just dab it on. I'm using a little makeup sponge from the Dollar Tree. Next, I'm going to add a little bit of the metallic silver paint from Folklore. And again, just dabbing that on just to, you know, kind of lighten up the black a teeny bit. And then I'm going to use a little bit of white and do the same thing, just dabbing it all over. I'm not rubbing it in, I'm not spreading it, just making little dabbing marks. And then after that, the next color I'm going to use is a gray. It's going to be Steel from the Waverly chalk paint line. And I'm going to be putting that all over it, including the inner rim, because that might be seen. So I'm trying to do everything that's going to be seen. Now, I learned this technique from a channel called Chalk It Up Fancy. It's a mother-daughter team, and they do a lot of amazing tutorials. And I've learned so much of my special techniques from them. And I'll put their channel link down in my description as well. The last thing I'm going to do is use some burnt umber from Apple Barrel paints. You can get those at Walmart. And I literally just dab around all the edges and seams and places where you might find some rust or serious wear and tear. And it's amazing how it gives that look. It's so good at that. And I know people use all different colors for this, but I will say burnt umber is my favorite for this technique. Does anyone else think it's funny that we clean off these items with alcohol and then turn around and do a painting technique to make them look dirty and rusty? I just think that's kind of funny how we do that. Oh well, at least I know it's clean, right? I got this little roll of burlap from Walmart, and I'm going to cut a strip. I don't want those seamed edges involved in this. I want everything to look very, very, rustic like the picture from Kirkland. So I'm going to cut off both of the edges, and then I'm going to pull some of the thread of the burlap on either side to create a little bit of a frayed edge. And I do that after it's attached because that's when I thought of it. So now I'm going to use a little bit of hot glue, and at first it didn't want to stick because I think I missed the mark on where the burlap was. So I go back in, and I've got it now, and I'm going to use my little applicator for makeup that I got, I think on Amazon. I can link that down below too. That way I don't burn my fingers. I used to burn myself all the time, you guys. Oh my gosh, so now I'm fraying it. And then I'm going to add a little bit of the rope that I have and tie around and make a very simple bow, just like the picture. I'm also going to put a couple of dabs of hot glue to keep the bow in place because I want it to lay, a certain way so it looks just like the piece that I'm trying to replicate. I have several picks of lavender that I got at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to arrange them inside what is now a vase, I guess, and I'm going to cut off the ends so that it's just the right height to fit in there and look as similar to the picture as possible. And I do actually end up adding another one when you see the final reveal because I thought it just needed to be a little bit fuller. I really love how this piece turned out. It's funny, I don't decorate my house with super rustic things, but I love making them. Go figure. My husband loves this one too. I think he wants it now in his office. Pretty soon all my crafts are going to end up in his office. I think it's hilarious. Anyway, I hope you guys like it. I think it looks a lot like the original one other than having a pouring spout. Other than that, I think it came out great. So let me know what you think. Did you know that I'm on social media? You can find me on Instagram, Pinterest, and Facebook. Same name, Living My Best Life with Lisa Marie. Come on over and say hi. This Kirkland's item is $50 and it's so cute. It's a nice serving tray that, says something about blessing the food and the family and the love between us, and I really like it. And I thought, I bet I can make this for less. So here we go. I found this already galvanized type of a tray at the Goodwill for $4, which, gosh, with that corrugated edge was a really good deal. I'm going to use my White Kills paint, and I'm going to do I think I did 3 coats to get this thing covered. And, also I started off with a brush that had bristles and realized I should probably use a foam brush, and that's what I switched to, and that made it much smoother. The look I'm going for is going to be that white enamel that when it gets worn away, you see some black around the edges and in different spots. So that's what I'm trying to do here with this one. And I'm going to go ahead and paint the back. I'm not necessarily going to paint those little pads that are on there, but I do get a little paint on there. I'm not worried about it. We'll never see that. I continue until I get this whole thing covered, till I think it looks like the enamel. Those little corrugated edges were tricky. I had to get in there and really kind of pounce on that to get in the little cracks. To give it that worn look, I'm going to take a makeup sponge and use my ink colored chalk paint. It's a black, so I just kind of first go around the edges and then I come back in and I spread some little blotches around. Kept most of my blotchiness to those edges, and I actually think that's where most of the wear would happen anyway. Now I didn't want to pull up the paint with the transfer paper. I'm going to use my Cricut for this, so I put Mod Podge down first. I went ahead and I tried to recreate their fonts as best I could. I just had to keep playing with it till it looked like it. And I will have to embellish it a little bit with black marker, you'll see. And right now I am just removing the letters from the Cricut paper, and I'm going to add, well, actually it's on some masking tape that I'm using as transfer tape. And then I'm going to lay it down, try to center it, and go ahead and rub that on with my little scraper, and ultimately pull up the masking tape to reveal the vinyl. And wherever it didn't come out the way I wanted, I just take a little black marker and I fill it in and fix it. You're going to see that here in just a second. Now I'm going to take the F in the word family. I'm going to create a tail on the end and also on the L in the word love, because that was in the original font. I also lost the dot on the I somehow in the process. And I'm using this premium decoupage by Aleene's that I got, I think, at Michael's. It was a better value than regular Mod Podge, and it worked great. I would definitely buy this again. You guys, I love this one so much. It came out great, and you have to let me know what you think. I hope that you like it too. And here is a last look at all of them. I'm really happy with how these guys all turned out, and I feel like they look like the originals. You'll have to let me know what you think. And don't forget to go visit Adrian at the Full-Time DIY Mommy. You guys, she's so much fun and she's got so much talent. You will really enjoy her channel. I love her bubbly personality. She's adorable. Thank you so much for watching. I will hope to see you in my next video, and please remember that you are a blessing to me.